Alright, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the brand new Ark ETF. Now, if you don't know about Ark, basically, their ETFs have been crazy hot. Basically, the Cathie Wood, which is the owner of Ark Invests, she got crazy famous this year and probably over the last few years. And this is her ETF. She released a brand new one. A lot of eyes are on this ETF, so we're going to be taking a deep dive into it. I'm going to be looking through all the holdings and kind of analyzing it and giving you my thoughts on if I'm personally buying this ETF. Because me personally, I'm very interested in like space and stuff like that, but is this ETF actually worth buying? We're going to be looking that into this video. Now, right before we jump into it, if you haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe to this channel. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers and we're almost there. We're at like 640 or something. So if you guys can just subscribe to this channel, and if you're already subscribed, just click the like button. That would be really appreciated. I can't actually get monetized on this channel or do anything until I reach 1,000 subs. You get a lot of perks without it. So if you guys can do that, that would be really appreciated. And yeah, let's just jump straight into this. So right now, it started trading. It wasn't on Robinhood until a bit later during the day, but it's live and it's actually down like 1% today. I'm not sure if it launched at 20 cents or 20 cents and $20.14, but it's went up. I mean, it's doing all right. I would say a lot of the market is down today as well as the Nasdaq's down, so it's trading pretty normal. I would say I was a little bit expecting this ETF to blow up, but I'm not sure if what this chart is right here. I'm not sure if it's actually up 1%, but nonetheless, let's just look into this. So what is the ArkX ETF? It's basically Space Exploration and Innovation ETF, which if you guys don't know, it's basically a fund that holds a lot of different stocks into one. So if you guys just don't want to pick your own stocks and just want to buy this one fund, let's say you're crazy into space and you think that's going to be huge in the future, then you would buy something like this, right? So let's look at the actual details, right? This is more of like all the details into it. Their expense ratio is kind of high. It's almost at 1%, 0.75. Now this, if I stand correctly, if this works with any other ETF like it does with ARK ETFs, this basically means that when you buy this, let's say you put $100 into it, they'll take 75 cents from your account every year. So I mean, that's kind of high, but at the end of the day, this is such a volatile ETF that that's not gonna matter too much. Maybe over the course of 20 years, it'll like, I don't think it'll matter too much in the long term, but yeah, that's something to take into account for sure. Now they have basically 94% of what their shares are in the S&P. They're I believe they already have a few billion market. So basically, their average market cap company in this ETF is 30 billion, and then the weighted average is 176 billion. So they have pretty large companies in this. Now we'll look at the holdings exactly, but you guys can look at the top 10 holdings that this ETF holds, and then the sectors are pretty important, right? We have communication service, so that's kind of like satellite stuff like that. Industrials, consumer discretionary, so kind of consumer goods and stuff like that. Information technology, and then the rest is not classified. Most of it's North America, Europe, and then yeah, most of this ETF comprises of 10 billion and plus stocks and companies. So they just jump straight into the actual holdings. Okay, so the number one holding here is Trimble Inc. Ticker symbol TRMB. Now they have about already like what 4,000, 5,000 shares, and that's 9% of their ETF. So let's say you buy one share of the ARK ETF, you're probably putting $1 to $2 into Trimble stock. So it'll be worth it to look into it. It's by far their biggest position. So when you look further into this, I looked into this a little bit. And basically Trimble, it says first it's an agricultural company, right? I'm like, okay, why the hell are they buying this? But then when you look further into it, you actually see that they're doing satellites. They're pretty big on satellites, which is obviously something that's very big into the space sector, stuff like that. They have 3 different satellites. I didn't look too far into this, but just vaguely looking into their numbers, they're not that bad. I mean, it's not crazy overvalued. 32.4p, that's kind of expensive, but I mean, if they're in the satellite space, they could grow a lot in the future. They're only expected to do just under 10% the next 2 years. So I mean, this is probably maybe overvalued right now, but in a few years it should be all right. But I mean, yeah, it's a solid company to have as an 8%, I would say, just vaguely from looking at this, because they are making decent amount of money relative to their market cap. But it's interesting that they have this as number one. It's only 20 billion. It's not that small. I mean, if you put 1 billion into this, that's already moving the stock quite a bit, right? So yeah, that's that. And the next one was very interesting, the 3D printing ETF. So they literally have a 3D printing ETF into this. It's called Space Exploration. And they have this. Now, 3D printing ETF is another ETF that they hold. So basically, in their ETF, they have another ETF that they hold, and they're doing it themselves, right? So basically, let's look at their 3D printing ETF. So they have HP, obviously, Exxon. I don't really know what that is. A lot of these, I don't know. Obviously, Microsoft, 4%. Trimble, once again, another 4%. Jeez. So you would have another 4% of 6 into this. So that's probably even more, right? You have 3D Systems, Autodesk, a lot of these I haven't heard of them too much. Michelin, are those the tires? Align, and oh yeah, okay, those are the Invisalign. That's kind of 3D printing. So that's very interesting. They have 6% into that. I would say that's kind of balancing out the portfolio, right? If you have the whole ETF, in my opinion, if you had this whole ETF, where's space? They definitely have space right here, Virgin Galactic. If they had this whole ETF based on Virgin Galactic, like 8%, that'll be kind of nuts. I'm very surprised they only did 2%. Like, if you told me to do a space ETF and you made me pick stocks for a space ETF, I would have Virgin Galactic as maybe 10% of the holdings, 20% of the holdings. So it's very interesting that they didn't do this for this, because this is like the main space stock, right? You talk about Virgin Galactic holdings, and next thing you know, this is all they do. Like, they're basically sending people to space, and that's the main thing they do, right? If you guys don't know. And only having that at 2% is definitely pretty interesting. It takes away a lot of the volatility, I would say, that this stock would have otherwise. Next up, they have Kratos Defense and Security. I haven't looked into it that much, but it's obviously kind of probably a cybersecurity type of company there. And then Lockheed, Boeing, which is nice, 34%. That might be a nice turnaround play over the next few years. I could see Boeing being a lot higher in like 3 to 4 years' time. Nvidia, very interesting there. Nvidia is obviously a huge company. Amazon, they have even Amazon. They have Alphabet. I mean, it's kind of solid companies all around there, and I believe a lot of these would be satellites in terms of what they do. Now, obviously, Netflix. What does Netflix have to do with space? Do they don't have satellites, do they? I mean, yeah, I don't know what Netflix has to do with space. I mean, yeah, they have shows about space, but I mean, they don't. What does that have to do with space? I don't know. I mean, that's 1% of the holdings right there. They only have 38 holdings, which is pretty interesting. And one of the 38 is, I believe, US dollars. I saw earlier. It was like literally they just had in US dollars. I can't even find it now. But yeah, like, that's pretty interesting, right? Now, am I buying this myself? Now, I could see this happening is that these are a lot of placeholder companies, because as an ETF, a lot of these aren't really up to par in terms of the category. Like you see in Netflix, even like an Alibaba. What does that really have to do with? Yeah, I don't really know. Google, I could maybe see it, right? Google's like, maybe, like, you can probably have some connections there. Workhorse, what does that really have to do with anything? I mean, I'm very interested. 1% on Workhorse. Damn. Obviously, that stock has been insane over the last few months. Look what happened to Workhorse, right? Went from 40. A lot of YouTubers were making videos, buy the stock. But man, there was way too much risk for me, dude. Look at what happened to the stock, too. 70%. That's what happens when you buy stocks like this. It's only $1 billion market cap, so it's super small right now. So that's crazy that 1% of it is on Workhorse. Honeywell as well. Airbus. Okay, that's yeah, I could definitely see this one in there as well. But yeah, okay, so a lot of these are placeholders. They're probably going to have in the future Starlink when it IPOs. I could definitely see Starlink being an 8% plus position for this ETF in the future. So as of now, I mean, obviously they don't have SpaceX, right? SpaceX is private. So if you guys are wondering, SpaceX is not in this ETF. Am I buying this? I would give it a no right now. Maybe in the future I might throw a little bit in one of my accounts just to like leave it there and hold it, forget about it. But me personally, I don't buy too many ETFs as it is. But yeah, I'm not gonna be buying this one today, just for the fact that I'd rather just buy straight up Google stock and maybe Trimble if I look into it more. But I mean, from what I've looked into Trimble, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they have that potential. I might be another one of those just solid stocks that they hold because they don't want this ETF to be too crazy in volatility. Yeah, I was expecting just right off the rip this stock to go up like 34%, down 34%, but I mean it's pretty nice. I mean it is an ETF after all. You see articles like this saying the outer space industry could be a $20 billion market yearly, right? So where it's making crazy amounts of money, and then it could be a $400 billion industry worth up to 805 billion, which is the broader space industry, which is huge, right? That's only like 10 years from now. This article, maybe 11 years from when this article was posted. That's kind of nuts, right? This is like actually 9 years from now. If that's the case, then I mean this. Oops, where did it go? Yep. I mean, if that's the case, then this could be pretty interesting, especially if they keep innovating this ETF. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you're buying this down below. But me personally, I'm gonna wait and see what happens. But I'm not really too interested in the holdings here for me to purchase it specifically. But I am very excited about this actual ETF and what the future holds for it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one.